What's up everyone, I'm Dan and thanks to JF Games for the review code for Dracamar on the Nintendo Switch systems. There's something undeniably charming about Dracamar. From the moment you step into its colourful island world, it feels like a throwback to the kind of cheerful 3D platformers that used to define Nintendo consoles during the late Nintendo 64 and GameCube eras. Bright environments, upbeat music, collectible heavy levels, and a story built around positivity and friendship all come together to create an experience that feels genuinely heartfelt. The story itself is straightforward but effective. King Crad, an evil dragon, is attempting to conquer the world of Dracamar by corrupting the Okies, the magical inhabitants of the islands. Your goal is to rescue them, restore balance, and reconnect the islands by collecting energy and rebuilding bridges. It's a simple setup, but the game's focus on themes like generosity, nature, community, and friendship gives it a surprisingly wholesome atmosphere. Everything about Dracamar radiates positivity, and honestly, it's refreshing to play something that feels this optimistic. Visually, the game does a fantastic job of selling its world. The colourful and vibrant art style immediately stands out, with environments inspired by Mediterranean landscapes and Catalan culture. Beaches, mountains, forests and villages all burst with personality, and the world feels warm and inviting throughout the adventure. It definitely looks like the kind of game you would expect to see on a Nintendo platform. There's a strong sense of charm in nearly every area, and you can tell the developers poured a lot of passion into building this world. The cheerful soundtrack complements that atmosphere perfectly. The music is upbeat and relaxing, helping reinforce that cozy feeling of exploration. Combined with visuals, it creates a very easygoing experience that's enjoyable simply to exist in. Even when you're replaying levels for collectibles, that presentation keeps things enjoyable. One thing I really appreciated was the amount of accessibility options included. There are settings for color blindness modes, extra health, auto run, and several other adjustments that make the game feel more approachable for younger or inexperienced players. Dracamar clearly wants to be welcoming to as many people as possible, and that's something more games should strive for. At the start of the game, you can choose between 3 playable characters, Kaliu, Fok, and Esperna. While there's no actual gameplay difference between them, the choice still adds a bit of personality and player preference into the mix. You can also unlock and purchase different outfits using in-game currency, which gives the collectible system some extra value beyond simple completion percentages. Better still, you can switch between characters at checkpoints, so you're never locked into one choice for the entire adventure. The levels themselves are fairly large and filled with collectibles, secrets, and alternate paths. While the overall progression is mostly linear, the stages often branch off enough to create the illusion of exploration. There are seeds to collect, hidden tokens, bonus objectives, and plenty of reasons to revisit earlier areas. Dracamar understands that a good 3D platformer should reward curiosity, and there's almost always something tucked away off the main route. That said, the checkpoint system can occasionally work against exploration. There are moments where you accidentally progress too far, hit a checkpoint, then realize you've missed a collectible in a previous section that you can no longer return to. When that happens, your only option is to replay the level later. It's not game breaking, but it can definitely become frustrating for completionists, especially because the levels can take some time to get through. Gameplay wise, platforming generally feels solid, though not quite as tight as it should be. Running, jumping, and moving around the environment work well for the most part, but there's a stiffness to the controls that becomes more noticeable during precision platforming sections. Some jumps and movements lack the smoothness you want from a game built entirely around movement. It's still playable and enjoyable, but it falls short of the responsiveness seen in the genre's best examples. Unfortunately, the control layout itself is probably the game's biggest issue. There's currently no button remapping. Jumping is assigned to the A button, which immediately felt strange to me, and interestingly, I never got used to it throughout my whole playtime with the game, always going to press the B button instead. Attack and jump being placed horizontally from each other never quite felt natural, and the inconsistency of using different buttons during conversations only adds to the awkwardness. It's one of those situations where a simple remapping option could drastically improve the experience. Still, there's creativity in the gameplay systems that help balance out those frustrations. Using the Oki's magical abilities to transform environmental objects is genuinely fun. Magnets become swinging tools, and clouds can be turned into solid platforms. These mechanics add variety to the platforming and help keep levels from feeling repetitive. There are bonus stages that shift genres entirely also. Combat is fairly basic but functional enough for the kind of audience Dracamar is targeting. Defeated enemies drop collectible energy used to restore the world, though it can be annoying when those pickups scatter off cliffs before you can even grab them. It's another small polish issue that doesn't ruin the game but contributes to the feeling that Dracamar needed just a bit more refinement overall. Despite its flaws, Dracamar is packed with charm, creativity and positivity, and younger players or those simply looking for a relaxed platforming adventure will probably have a great time with it. The controls and stiffness do hold it back from greatness, but underneath those issues is a genuinely enjoyable 3D platformer with a lot of heart. If you're willing to adapt to its quirks, there's absolutely fun to be found here. Dracamar may not reach the heights of platformers that inspired it, but it captures their spirit surprisingly well. Dracamar is out now on the Nintendo eShop, priced at $24.99 in the UK and the US. Big thanks to you all for watching, hope you enjoyed the review, don't forget to hit that like button, and until next time.